in the 7-Eleven, and I'm in front of the hidden fridge, the one where I've found some nice beers before. What have they got? Well, it's not really hidden stuff, just an overflow, although down at the bottom, next to the Heineken, which you don't really see that much nowadays, is Jabali IPA. That's up in the fridge. Yeah, there we go. There's the Jabali. Let's go for this. Okay, so I'm back home with the Jabali. Yes, I was a little disappointed with the secret fridge of mine, as it were, in the 7-Eleven. Last week they had much more of a choice, much more interesting stuff too. But they just had Bohemia Cristal, which is a real slur on the name of Bohemia beer, Heineken, and some other crap really. Wasn't up to standard, although I was certainly glad that I found the Jabali, which was down in the bottom left corner, as you saw earlier. All I said when I was looking in the fridge in the 7-Eleven was that it was a bottle of Jabali. That's all I said. I never gave you a full amount of information. Actually, it was their IPA. I can't remember ever having that one before. I would certainly remember. So I remember labels and beers in general. I'm a geek or nerd when it comes to good beer. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not sure. But anyway, as I said, I can't remember trying this one before. I've had the others from Jabali, and they do make a nice range of beers. Their Salvajita is very nice. It's kind of light. There's a nice fragrancy to it, and it's also very refreshing. It's nice. It's a nice beer. It's something like 3.5% alcohol. I think it's more 3.5%, so it's more like one of the light beers that you get, like Tecate Light, etc. The only difference is it has flavour. It says very refreshing. It's a nice summer beer. It's rather like a good British session beer to enjoy in a beer garden with friends on a nice summer evening. By the way, the name Jabali is a wild boar that you find here in Mexico. It's one with those tusks coming out of its nose, whatever. Quite a gruesome, fearful, an animal that you don't really want to tackle with. You don't really want to say, "Come on, kid, let me pet you." It's rather like saying the same to a pit bull terrier, I guess. Another of the beers that I haven't had from Jabali is their Hellesbock. It's a nice label. I am attracted to a nice label, but I haven't seen that one. I have tried their Bock, which I've found in my local deposito down the road, run by the nice couple who run the place. They were very pleasant, always very welcoming. They always, I think I'm a regular customer there. I'm very friendly with them anyway. I tried the Bock from there. It's about 6%. It's a beer that has a nice, good, full body. It's nice, full beer. But I just don't like how it tastes. There's just something to it that I don't like. I don't know what it is. I just don't really like that one. Jabali isn't actually the name of the brewery. I would have thought so, like Minerva, Ray, and others. But the name of the brewery is actually Primus, whose beers I did actually like. There were nice beers that Primus made. I don't know what what's happened. Did they change the branding to Jabali? Have they got it as a separate brand? I don't know. But on the back of the label, it always says Primus. And they are based in Querétaro. Lovely place. Probably my second most favorite place after Guanajuato. And there are some great beers in Querétaro. Hercules is one. And Querétaro is famed for its beer and beers, its wines, and its food, especially cheese. And they have a festival, is it June or July? I can't remember exactly, but they have this festival of wines and foods, especially cheese from the city and around Querétaro. I've never yet been. I must go in 2026. Anyway, Primus began in 2006, I think it was. Like many others in Mexico, they all kind of began around that period. And yeah, that was the time, it seems like this spurt of independent brewers appeared in 2005, 2006, around that period. What a great time it was. I don't know why, but I had this idea that Primus had sold their soul to Heineken Mexico. Because you see those beers being promoted by Heineken. But it seems that all they've done is partnered Primus with Heineken Mexico to kind of promote their beers with one of the big two that there is here in Mexico. I don't know if it will stay that way or whether Primus will get absorbed into Cerveceria, or rather Heineken Mexico. I always call it Cerveceria because that's what everybody here in Monterrey calls the brewery. And a place that I used to teach at, which is rather pleasant, especially one of my students who would always give me a case of beer every other weekend or every other week when I would teach him. But that's another story for another day. I think what this partnership has done is to make the beers from Primus, especially Jabali, more accessible. I just wish that they wouldn't send their bock to the depositos and other places that sell the beers from Jabali. Because, yeah, it's just a beer that the taste of it wouldn't really sit with the average Regio. It's too heavy, too strong. Most Regios prefer a lighter beer, like Tecate Light, although water is better, or Tecate Rojo, the standard Tecate of reasonable strength. I quite enjoy most times. I think the average Regio would go for the Jabali Salvajita. Yeah, I think so. It's a lighter beer. It's more in tune with the flavors that Regios prefer. It's lighter beer. And really, heavier beer is not really something people here like so much. Maybe the Helles book that they make, maybe that would be a good one for Regios too. Maybe it's very similar, maybe a little more than a Tecate, but I don't, when you have a very hoppy beer, the average Regio doesn't really take to that. I think the newer millennials and Gen Zs here in Monterrey and Mexico in general prefer these flavors. They're more attuned to beer with great flavor, which is great. I applaud my Regio millennials and Gen Zs. I mean, they are paving the way for good beer. So, let's try this find of mine, the Jabali IPA. So, here we are with the Jabali IPA. A different shaped bottle to the normal kind that is, I guess, standard here in Mexico. It's kind of stubby, almost like an Aussie style stubby bottle. It adds to the package. It makes it an interesting kind of beer. Nice green label, very eye-catching, and it certainly makes you go, "Oh, that looks good." And the strength is 5.4 in alcohol, which is reasonable. Just a little above a Tecate at 4.8, 4.9. And yeah, I think this is, I don't know if the flavour of this is too much for a Regio, in that it's too hoppy, because most Regios do prefer a very mild flavoured beer. I've certainly found that anyway. I remember giving a cousin a bottle of Guinness, and I almost floored him because he found it incredibly strong. I think that was because he normally drank Tecate Light. But I love doing this kind of thing. Anyway, let's see what this is like, shall we? So, I have my new trusty Minerva glass, which I got with my, what's the name of that beer? I've forgotten the name of it. The mango flavoured beer. And let's open the bottle, shall we? My trusty Montemayor bottle opener. Oh, nice little hiss as you open it. So, let's see how it pours. Here we go. Nice cling. This glass does have a nice ring to it when you hit it, almost like a crystal glass in some ways. It's a nice colour. Has a nice, that's very like a British beer in its colour. It looks like almost bass-like in its colour. It looks very good. Darker than many Mexican beers. Slightly somewhere in colour between a Vienna, like say Victoria, and a Tecate, which is a Pilsner. Has that colour, but certainly a fruity aroma. It's not as hoppy as some IPAs. Some IPAs, they just like rip your nose off with the hit of hops. But this one, although sadly the head hasn't stayed for too long, but that might be because of having recently washed the glass. But there's nice fruitiness in there. It's not overly hoppy, but there's a kind of caramel. Mostly a caramel flavour. It's different to the other IPAs. Certainly very different to the ones that I tried from Minerva, like the New England IPA and the others. But really, it's not a very strong aroma. It's not, you don't get much out of the aroma. It's not that exciting an aroma. You don't really feel, this is going to be a great beer to try. No, you don't get that kind of excitement in the glass, which you you get from many beers. I mean, certainly when I'm home in Leicester, you get nice excitement from a pint of Beacon or a pint of Adnams Southwold Ale. But this one, is there, but it's not there. Yeah, I'm now getting a bit of hoppiness on the middle to the end of the tongue. But it's taken a while for that to arrive, in a way. Normally I would expect a good hoppiness note to kind of hit you in a nice way and go, oh, that's good to begin with. But this one, it's like, meh, to begin with in some ways. I'm certainly glad I didn't order the multi-pack of these, which was like 12 bottles. Yeah. I think buying them individually was a better idea. But thankfully I didn't see the others. Yeah. All I can say is that it's okay. It certainly doesn't taste like 5.4. You sometimes get that feeling of, oh, that's good. That feels like I've drunk a beer. But with this, not so much. I don't know what I would pair this with. I think it may go well with some seafood. But I think you need something like, I don't know, what would go well with this? Maybe some prawns. I don't know if it would go well with chicken or a molly. Sorry about that. Yeah, maybe some spiciness. Maybe a spicy dish. Maybe this is a good curry beer. Yeah, maybe this is a good curry beer. Thinking back to some of the beers in the UK, a beer that I do remember trying in, I can't remember the name of the restaurant in Leicester that I went with some very good friends. There was a beer called Cobra, an Indian Pilsner, which works perfectly with a curry. And this, as it's not overly hoppy, which an IPA generally is, oh yeah, I think that you could have that with a nice curry. Maybe this would work with an asada de puerco. I'm not sure with a molly, actually, as I've said. Maybe it would. Anyway, not quite as impressed as that as I was expecting, to be honest. I would maybe give that a 6. A 6 out of 10. It's a nice beer, but not anything to write home about, as it were. Yeah, okay, but so-so. Oh, I'm a little disappointed there. So please like and subscribe and hit the bell at the bottom. There's somewhere down there, as I'm always very vague about this. So your likes and subscribes are always very nice to have. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.